When All Elite Wrestling was launched in 2019, they promised us that they would deliver the best professional wrestling matches that the world has ever seen. Now, whether you think that's happened or that it hasn't, what is undeniable is that they have put on some absolute bangers in the 6-year history. And today we have the incredibly difficult job of trying to rank the top 10 of them. And when there's literally hundreds to choose from, well, this is very difficult indeed. I'm Ben Allison here at Wrestling Republic, and I'm joined today with Des. How are you, Des?
I'm doing good. We're up early in the morning. I gotta say, this was really difficult. Like, you could say any of these matches on here from the past, 6 years, but we got our 10, and we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. I mean, it's undoubtedly, at least in my opinion, the hardest list we've done so far.
Oh, yeah,
and we've done
easily.
quite a few of these now. It's absolutely wild. But without further ado, let's get into the top 10. Okay, so I'll kick us off. And in at number 10, I have a match which has a really special place in my heart. And that is Stadium Stampede 2020. Because, look, this was at a time when the pandemic had just hit. There was no crowds. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Wrestling wasn't much fun because the thing that makes wrestling fun is crowds. And it was a time where we were all at home. We all had nothing to do. So the fact that, wrestling wasn't that great, it was kind of annoying. But it did provide for a few opportunities for certain unique matches. And this was one of them. And this match, I just remember being awake at 3 a.m. watching it, just smiling. It was just fun. And at that time, that is what we needed. If this match was to happen now, it wouldn't even be anywhere near this list. But at the time, it was what was needed, and it really holds a special place in my heart, Des.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't watch this match because I wasn't really watching wrestling in 2020, like you said. It's hard to watch wrestling in 2020, right? It's like trying to paint without paint. You just can't do it. But my uncle, he was urging me. He's like, you have to watch it. This is so much fun. This is great. There's a horse. There's bars. It's a whole lot of blast. I saw it and I agree. This is a lot of fun. It's not on my list, but I totally get it. Given the circumstances, it's a great pick.
What is your number 10?
All right, number 10. This might be low on some people's list, but I got Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson, Grand Slam 2021. The reason why it's low on this list is because there was no finish. It was a draw. That's the reason why. But I wouldn't be lying if I told you, man, where was New York? Before the bell even started, the fans were going nuts. This was an absolute dream match because at the time, Bryan Danielson, a.k.a. Daniel Bryan, was in WWE. He was in WWE for a really long time. The last time these two faced, I want to say, was during that Ring of Honor period. So they never had a formal one-on-one match in a different environment like AEW. And Danielson, he made his debut All Out 2021. Omega was in his heel stage. This was such a fantastic match. It's just there was no finish, and it's a crime we never got it again. I wish we did.
I'm going to be honest, I never knew until you said that they'd even faced off before, but you're right. They faced off in a triple threat match in Ring of Honor with Seth Rollins. Yes. Wow,
know, right?
I haven't even seen that. I need to check it out, that is for sure.
Yeah,
but
it's
great pick. In at number 9, I have what was just an absolutely insane steel cage match. The Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks, All Out 2021. This match was just mental. I mean, trainers with thumbtacks in it. It was just crazy, right? And this kind of was one of those matches, Des, where it kind of was like everything bad people say about AEW, all the stereotypes, kickouts, big moves and stuff, some no selling. This match kind of was that. But if you watch this match and can't have fun, if you can't love it, I mean, I just think you hate fun, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I do have it on this list. It's a lot higher because of the personal experience I had with it, but this is a great pick. I love this match, man. This match was so much fun. Like I said, overselling. Yeah, it's everything with AEW, but it was fun. There was a story, and it was a great finish as well.
That's the thing. It did tell a story, right? Were they kind of, did moves maybe not mean as much as they should at times? Absolutely sure. But the story they told, the crowd, how electric it was, I mean, that means something. It truly does. But what's your number 9 pick?
All right, number 9, I got MJF versus Will Ospreay at All In 2024. If you want to talk about the Dynamite match, you can. I mean, honestly, flip a coin. Both of them are great. I just went with this one because the entrances were really cool. Ospreay came out with Assassin's Creed. MJF, he's Uncle Sam. For some context quickly, Ospreay was the international champion. MJF beat him on Dynamite. He basically changed it to the American Championship. He was like, crapping on England, all this stuff. Then they have the match. The match is fantastic, by the way. The main story of this match is Will Ospreay hitting the Tiger Driver 91, which he does on MJF. Daniel Garcia is also in this match, reveals himself as the Red Death after MJF took him out. And not to mention, like I said, this was a fantastic match. It was really hard hitting, two of the best, and then it ended with Ospreay getting the American Championship, tossing it in the bin, bringing back the International Championship.
It was fantastic. I was there live for it. I had the privilege of being in the venue. I will say that Will Ospreay entrance, we all looked at each other like, what on earth is this? Because it looked, I think, a lot better on TV.
It was really cool.
In the stadium. It looked so rubbish. It was like, what are we doing here? Like, what is this? It just, because we were high up as well. So
that's fair.
Rubbish, to be honest with you.
Fair.
But hell of a match. There's no denying that. In at number 8, I have a more recent match. I have Toni Storm versus Mariah May from AEW Revolution 2025. This match was, as I said at the time, absolute cinema. Yes, that term is overused, but this was literally that. Cinema, right? It was a Hollywood ending. It was the perfect conclusion to a year-plus feud. One of my favorite feuds in the history of AEW. So for me, it has to be on this list, Des. But what do you have?
All right, that's fair. I did not have that on my list. Now, here's the thing. This might be controversial. It's a fantastic match. It's not my style of match, dude. I was watching this match. I was cringing in a good way. They literally taped their fist and was slamming it in a bucket of glass and trying to punch each other. Like, it's unbelievable. But yeah, number 8.
Wild.
It was. Number 8, it was for the sickos. But yeah, number 8, Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr., Wrestle Dream 2023. As a kid, I loved watching the big names. Now that I'm older, now that I've watched my fair share of wrestling, I love some good old-fashioned technical grabs. And this match was exactly that, man. When this match got announced, I was so happy because at the time, Zack Sabre Jr. was someone I really didn't watch a lot in New Japan, but I knew he was such a great technical wrestler. And Danielson, who in my opinion had one of the best runs ever as a wrestler in AEW, facing all these dream opponents, is also a great technical wrestler. They just put on an absolute clinic, man. This match was absolutely fantastic too. Danielson did win, but the submissions, the counters, it's like they knew each other inside out. It was truly fantastic.
I mean, you know me, I absolutely love both of these guys. Zack Sabre Jr. is probably my favorite wrestler in the world. I'm going to shock you here, Des. Not on my list.
That's fair. I just love technical wrestling, so I had to include it. But I get it.
I do too. I just didn't think that. I just don't really think that matches like this work in an American arena.
That's fair.
And that's what kind of the crowd was frustrating me a little bit. I much preferred their match over in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Fair. But up next, in at number 7, I have a match which was absolutely insane. And also, I don't think that you'll like. And that is Revolution 2022. MJF, CM Punk, dog collar. I mean, Punk was literally just pouring out just buckets of blood. Yeah. Honestly, insane. But look, this match undoubtedly is the least AEW-like match on this list, despite the blood, right?
Right.
Because it worked a much slower style. And actually, if you look on a website like Cage Match, there are people reviewing the match complaining about that. Oh, it was slow. It was slow because they were telling a story. And yes, quite often in AEW, it is very fast-paced. This slowed things down, and it just worked. It worked. Punk and MJF told a fantastic story. The stuff with Wardlow coming out at the end and not giving the ring to MJF and instead leaving it there for Punk. It was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, on this list at number 7 for me.
That's fair. I actually really like this match too. It's just, this was such a difficult list. This is my favorite feud in AEW, by the way, because it was such a fantastic
Wow.
story, right? With MJF, he's the kid. He takes a picture with Punk. He feels overshadowed by Punk, and he looks up to Punk. There's actually a documentary on YouTube. I don't know if you heard of it. It's called Better Than You, and it goes over the entire story of MJF and CM Punk. It is so well produced. And this was the first rivalry that I saw when I was actually getting into AEW. It's just not on the list, but it's fantastic. I love this feud for sure.
It absolutely is. What is your number 7?
All right, number 7, I got the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros All Out 2021. Like you had mentioned, the reason why I have this match on this list is because I've never seen anything like this, right? AEW All Out 2021 was the first ever AEW pay-per-view I've ever saw in my entire life. Because I didn't really watch.
It's a good one to start with, I'll tell you that much.
That's why I became a fan. But my uncle, he's like, you have to watch it. I'm like, okay, CM Punk's back. I'm a big CM Punk guy. I'm going to watch it. I've never, ever seen a match it was unbelievable. The spots, the tacks, the entrances with Zero Miedo and Lucha Bros coming out. And then you had the Young Bucks think they were champions for like 300 days. I think they were the longest reigning at the time. I might be wrong about that. But then the Lucha Bros, they come in, they win. It's such an unbelievable steel cage match. It's the reason why I was like, okay, I left out of there being like, this isn't really a WWE, but I'm like, this is fantastic. I got to watch more of this. And yeah, it has to be on this list because without it, I probably don't watch AEW.
That is absolutely, a crazy match and a fantastic event to start watching with, especially with the ending to that show. But in at number 6, I have another MJF match because MJF versus Bryan Danielson Revolution 2023. I mean, look, MJF is probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite wrestler in AEW. And these two together, 65-minute Iron Man match, or 60 minutes, and they had 5 minutes added on. It was absolutely fantastic. Yes, there was some kickouts, but they weren't like just tons of, unnecessary big kick out in this one. And that's something which I really like, because that's one of the issues I have with AEW at times, that big moves aren't respected. This match was fantastic, and MJF to get himself DQ'd to lose a fall, but to take advantage of that to gain 2 falls, that to me was one of my favorite moments in it as well. It's just fantastic heel work, and it lasted 65 minutes, like I said, but it didn't feel that long. So for me, it has to be on my list. But what about you? What do you have at number 6?
That's a great shout. That match is on my list. It's a bit higher. Actually, it's not that far behind. But I got Sting and Darby Allin versus the Young Bucks of Revolution 2024, just because this was such a great way to retire Sting, right? You had all his sons. They dressed up like all his former characters. They had the Soul Surfer. Then they had the NWO Wolfpack Sting. And it was so cool, man. It's in North Carolina. What's crazy, too, is Sting and Darby Allin actually didn't lose the belt. In most retirement matches, the guy that's going to retire loses. That didn't happen here. Sting and Darby Allin won. I will never forget. I was watching it. I was playing Xbox with my buddies, and I saw Darby Allin. He's off the ladder. He does a swanton into glass, like literally glass, dude. It's an image I'll never get out of my head.
It's nuts.
It's nuts. Like, it's genuinely insane. But that's what the match was. Also, I like the Young Bucks, but as characters, you just want to see them lose, and that happened. This was a great way to send off a legend.
A fantastic shout. Not on my list, but I can't argue with it. I really cannot, because it was a fantastic retirement. For me, in at number 5, I have another Danielson match, because I am going with a match which I was also there live for, and that was Swerve versus Bryan Danielson, all in 2024. Look, going into this match, the question was, will Bryan Danielson win the championship one last time, or will he retire? He strongly hinted at it. He said, if I lose here, I might well be done. And therefore, the stakes were really high. And there were some people in Wembley who thought this was the end as well. And look,
really?
They delivered. Yeah, there was people in the crowd who were like, Swerve's winning.
Really?
And I was so invested into it.
I was not sold on that at all, actually.
But it was Swerve, Swerve was in the middle of his reign. Danielson was reportedly injured. Of course, he was only written off a few months after too, and he's been retired since. So there would only have been 2 months earlier. But no, Danielson managed to do it. Fantastic, fantastic match, fantastic moment at the end of the match. And one of those stories, one of those matches where you are invested for every grapple, every kick, all of it. Fantastic stuff. What is your number 5?
That's a great shout. Also, that's on my list. It's just not here yet. At number 5, we're going to go MJF versus Bryan Danielson Revolution 2023.
Ooh.
This is a fantastic Iron Man match. Now, this might be controversial, but it's up there because I love HBK versus Bret Hart WrestleMania 12 because I just love technical raps. Yeah, I love that match. I know people are going to be like, it was boring.
I agree that I love that match.
Oh, there you
I can
go.
see where you're going with this.
Yeah,
like you're going to compare them.
Yeah, I mean, they're both great. Like, I really like the Iron Man matches between them. MJF was at absolute peak here. Not to mention, now, I didn't watch Revolution live because I didn't buy it. I was actually at college. Believe it or not, the night I watched this, I was going to go to Survivor Series War Games the very same night in Boston. That was the one where Sammy, it was Bloodline versus like Drew, Sheamus, like all of them. But I watched it beforehand. And it was fantastic. At the time, I was kind of like, Revolution 2023, it's okay, right? We need that match that's really going to elevate this card. And that match did it, man. This was such a fantastic match. I kind of wish they ran it back one more time. Also, the press conference MJF cut afterwards, I'm not going to say because he kind of swore a lot, but it was awesome, man. This is peak MJF.
100% it was him at his best. But up next, I'm actually going to go for a third consecutive Bryan Danielson match.
Right.
I mean, shout out to him because I am going him versus Will Ospreay Dynasty 2024. Look, this match, a lot of people were saying it's one of the greatest wrestling matches ever. And I'm not sure I'd go that far, but it certainly is up there for me. The psychology in it is off the charts. And of course, what we know coming out of it too, where he dumped Danielson on his head and then didn't do that move for like a whole year pretty much until I think MJF at All in Wembley.
Yes.
And honestly, these two together, it was instant chemistry. It was absolutely fantastic. There weren't too many for a Will Ospreay match, big kickouts towards the end. There were a few, but it wasn't like overkill. So I really, really enjoyed this. And the only reason it's not higher is I don't think the story going into the match was as good. Or it's at least it didn't have as much depth to it as my top 3 too. But what about you, Des? What do you have it for?
All right, we're on the same wavelength because number 4, I got Danielson versus Ospreay as well at Dynasty 2024. The reason why I have this is because my birthday is April 22nd. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was April 21st or April 20th. When this match got announced, I'm like, happy birthday to me. I just got a fantastic match. And it was incredible, man. This was such a great match. Like you said, when Ospreay hit the Tiger Driver 91, this was the last time he hit it before he hit on MJF because, Danielson was hurt, right? Danielson was someone he really respected. Ospreay really didn't hit the Tiger Driver 91 when as a good guy. It was more as a heel character, right? Because he's with Don Callis, and he's like, I can't be hitting this. I'm hurting these guys. And Callis is like, no, you got to be hitting them. And then the ending sequence, I'll never forget, man. Danielson is running for the psycho knee. Ospreay's a hidden blade. They come in, they collide each other, man. It is such a fantastic match. The reason why I don't have it higher is just because of the story. I don't think the story was as good. There was a story afterwards, but this was just a dream match, and there's nothing wrong with that. So it's got to be number 4.
Exactly. When it comes to dream matches, this is one of the best ever. But at least for me, my top 3 are very story heavy. And we're going to kick my top 3 off with a match which a lot of people consider the greatest tag team match of all time. Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, the Young Bucks, Revolution 2020. This match was absolutely insane. It was undeniable. The story going into it, where Kenny Omega was trying to connect Hangman and the Young Bucks, but they kept getting further and further apart, and there was more and more tensions. And then in the match itself, it was fantastic. The psychology all the way through it, off the chart. Only reason it is not higher is I did have a few issues, especially when I rewatched this match last year. Certain things like Kenny Omega easily could have broken up one of the pins and he was just on the apron kind of killing time. There's a few things like that. I also didn't like the kick out at one of the hidden blade, the BTE trigger, sorry. I didn't like that either. But even still, this match storyline wise, probably the best tag team match ever. Not sure in ring-wise that's the case for me, but definitely the best in AEW history. But what about you, Des?
Okay, all right, you're gonna get mad. Most people are. I've never seen this match. That's the reason why it's not on my
What?
list. I've never seen it. Yeah, that's the reason why. That's the only reason it's not on this list. I know people say it's the greatest tag team match ever. I can't say that because I've never seen it, so I can't be on here and talk about something I've never seen. But I will try.
That's absolutely
crazy. Yeah.
This is like maybe the most famous AEW
Yeah,
match.
I know. That's why I might watch it today, honestly. I have time. I got to catch up on a lot of wrestling today, so I'll watch it today. But yeah, that's the reason why it's not on there. For number 3, though, I have one of my favorite matches of all time. The only reason it's not higher is because the other two are really good story-wise. It's Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, Forbidden Door 2023. This match is fantastic. When this match got announced, I had seen the Wrestle Kingdom match, which was, honestly, it was pretty violent. But what I liked about this one is the roles were reversed this time, right? Omega, he was more sadistic, he was more cruel, and Ospreay was getting beat up. Omega's with Don Callis, right? At Wrestle Kingdom, roles are reversed. Now, Ospreay, he's the heel. He's a sadistic heel. He's like destroying Kenny Omega, grabs his head, pushes it through the table. He even licks his elbow that's covered in Omega's blood. He grabs a Canadian flag and he defiles it. Don Callis is also with Ospreay. The entrance to the Ospreay had was awesome. The kick out from the one-winged angel, I was going nuts. Now, I agree with you. The kick out at 1 doesn't work for me. This one did. I popped when it happened. This was such a good story, too. Ospreay gets a screwdriver, hits Omega in the head. He beats Omega as well, wins the IWGP United States Championship. This has to be on here. I love this match.
Well, you're going to hate me, Des. Because just like mine wasn't on your list, this isn't on my list, and I'll tell you why. This is arguably the greatest wrestling match I've ever seen. Until the last 4 minutes. I have never seen a match which has just shot itself so much in the foot in the last few minutes. Because it was kick out, big finisher, kick out, big finisher, kick out, big finisher, kick out, big finisher, kick out. For like 4 minutes. And I was like, you could have, and the story they told at the end, they literally could have done 5 minutes ago after that first kick out of the one-winged angel. Right? That's what they should have done from there. But it annoyed the absolute hell out of me. They dragged it 5 minutes too long and it completely ruined it for me. Just because it made so many big moves of Ospreay's feel just completely and utterly irrelevant. And I was like, there was no point in it. They did the finish absolutely brilliantly, where Don Callis handed him the mic. That should have been it. Maybe have Omega kick out of the one-winged angel at 2, not 1. But at that point then, get him up, Tiger Driver, whatever you want to do.
Right,
bang, 1, 2, 3. You don't need to have him kick out of that. Then do another Oz Cutter, another head of blade.
Cutter, yeah.
It was tons of stuff. And I was like, and it was just kick out, 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 kick out.
Yeah.
And then pinned. And it's like, well, what was the point then? It really annoyed me, Des. Really annoyed me. And now I'm going on a rant. You've got me riled up.
No, that's fair. For me, I didn't mind it because Omega was the final boss, and it's like in a video game where you're just throwing everything at it. Like, these are two guys that would just try and absolutely beat the crap out of each other, hit each other with their best moves. So I get it with wrestling in terms of the story. I just looked at it as these are two of the best. They're just throwing everything they can at each other. It just felt like a fight, and but I get it. I totally get with the kick out. I get it with the no selling, but it worked for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Fair enough. But in at number 2, I have a match. And when you talk about story, this is king. Cody Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes, Double or Nothing 2019. Two brothers fighting each other. They're not on the same page, but by the end of it, covered in their own blood and each other's blood, they hug it out. It was absolutely fantastic. Brandy Rhodes was involved as a heel at the start, but got taken out about halfway through, and then it was just them together. Absolutely brilliant. The best match in the career of Dustin Rhodes. That is undeniable. And one of the best of Cody Rhodes as well. Two brothers together. Des, I love this.
It's not on the list, but I agree. I love this match. This is what I mean. This is so difficult to pick 10. It's like, okay, here's 75 matches. Go pick 10. It's like, I don't know, because you got to take so many things into effect. But yeah, this match is great, man. This is what the Usos match should have been. All right, I'll die on this hill. This is what the
Oh,
Usos
yeah.
match should have been. This was such a good story. It doesn't even need blood. All right, the blood is just because that's AEW. It doesn't need blood. The story they were telling is just two brothers that were trying to prove they're the best, and then they hug it out as well. I love Cody Rhodes' promo too during the buildup of this. It's one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, this is where Cody Rhodes got the sledgehammer, smashed the throne. So that was also cool vision.
And then he became the guy's quarterback a few years later.
Right?
But I'll actually in this match, we'll say the blood helped. I think this is one of those matches where the blood added to it. I mean, even the visual you can see right there with them hugging, covered in each other's blood. Right. I think that's fantastic. I'm a big fan of it in this case. But what is your number 2?
All right, my number 2, I got Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland all in 2024 because this was the culmination of a great story. My next 2 matches are because I love wrestling, man, but wrestling is more than just in-ring ability. It's about the story. It's about the emotion you can evoke out of a person, and this was one of them. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, Ben. I always thought Danielson was going to win. They called it the final countdown. So I was like, okay, Danielson is definitely going to win this match. But it didn't matter because it was such a good match. Not to mention Wembley Stadium playing the final countdown. I can only imagine how you guys were in the crowd going absolutely nuts for it. This was a great story, too, because Swerve, even though he was a good guy, he is a really good heel, man. He's a really sadistic heel, and he was just brutalizing Danielson. I think Brie Bella was also there, and he was trying to beat him up in front of him. Exactly. But the way, during the match, though, I think Swerve, he was trying to beat up Danielson in front of his wife and Birdie as well. Danielson won this match. What sucks about this for me is when I was watching it, it kept buffering over and over and over again. Yeah, that frustrated me. But I did later rewatch it, and I mean, I'm not going to let it take points out of a streaming service. That's different. But yeah, this match is fantastic. Danielson finally won the AEW championship, which he honestly didn't really need to because he didn't want to. But in terms of the story, this was awesome.
And he deserved it too. I'm glad 100%. He did, just for the title as well. But in at number 1, we've talked about the best tag match in history. I'm going to give the best death match in history. A match which I said is just the culmination of the greatest story, one of the greatest stories in professional wrestling history, but the greatest story I think we have seen in the last decade. Pure hatred between two men. And in not just AEW, but wrestling in general, often when it comes to death matches, they are violent for the sake of violent. It doesn't make sense. It's not necessary. It's a little bit, it makes you cringe, like you said earlier, Des.
Yeah.
But in this case, every spot made sense. They were telling a story. I mean, one of them broke into the other one's house and stood in front of the daughter's cot. The other one burned down the other's childhood home. It was bitter hatred, and the story they told through weapons, through violence, it was fantastic. The best match in AEW history. The best death match in history. And honestly, in my opinion, one of the best matches in professional wrestling history. Could very well be top 10. But Des, I want to find out what you have at number 1.
Yeah, unfortunately, this match is not on my list. It's just because, I agree with you. The story's good, but it's just, I don't know, man. It made sense. It's death matches, man. I don't know. They don't resonate
fair
with
enough.
me.
Okay,
that's the thing. It's not like I'm grossed out or anything. Yeah, it's not like I'm grossed out or anything. It's gory. It's just for the sake of violence. These guys were grabbing staples and stapling each other to the chest. They were stapling the cheeks, man. They were. Hangman. No, I think. I try to remember it. Who won? It was Hangman. I think. No, it was Swerve that won. Yeah, it was Swerve that won because this was the star performance. He literally hanged Hangman off the freaking turbo, off the rope.
I mean, there's literally that image there. It's absolutely crazy. It really is that visual.
Yeah, it's awesome, but my God, it's hardcore, dude. It's really hardcore. But number 1, Hangman Adam Page makes his return because I'm going to go with what I think is the greatest finish to any story in AEW history because this was almost 2 years. It's Hangman Adam Page beating Kenny Omega at Full Gear 2021. This is amazing, man. This was such a good story. This was the redemption of Hangman Adam Page. Now, I didn't watch Jericho versus Hangman All Out 2019, but thanks to YouTube, I was able to rewatch it. The match itself wasn't that great, but it told the story of Hangman's comeuppance, right? His rise to the top. And then when he finally beat Kenny Omega at Full Gear 2021, who, by the way, has one of my favorite heel runs ever, the Belt Collector run. It is absolutely incredible. Omega, for me, I loved his heel character. I know people were probably saying it was cheesy with the Lemmy mustache, but I liked it, man. I thought it was really, really cool. He was such a, like, I'm not gonna swear, but he was like such a like vile and like cowardly heel, but like not even because he just was the best bout machine. He just wanted to put on the best match every single time. But yeah, man, Hangman finally beat Omega, and then the biggest detail of all is the Young Bucks. They gave the nod to Hangman, which Hangman finally beat Kenny Omega.
It is that nod which is the real like best part of this match. I mean, look, I'm not going to argue with you because you are right. It is the best story, I think. Well, not the best story in AEW history, the second best. Tied with Tony and Mariah before Swerve and Hangman is top for me. But the reason that match isn't on my list purely is I didn't think the match itself maybe delivered as much as I expected it to. I actually preferred their match. I think it might have been Full Gear the year before. I think it was, 2020. I preferred that one. In Daly's place, but even still it was fun, and to your point, it was the story told was absolutely fantastic, so I'm not going to argue against that. But there we have it, our top 10 AEW matches. Please leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already so you never miss an upload. Thank you, Des, for joining me here today, and thank you to everybody watching. Have a great one. Peace.